Welcome to Loan Officer Success Live, sponsored by Premier Lending, the show where the mortgage industry's top players pull back the curtain. Your host, Devin Dubuque, sits down with industry leaders, top producers, and game-changing mortgage tech innovators, all sharing their unfiltered strategies, bold ideas, and proven secrets for success. Get ready to take notes, think bigger, and play to win, because this is Loan Officer Success Live. All right, guys, we are back in action. And man, thinking bigger, innovator, we've got Eddie Knows Loans, founder of @RateVerifier.com on the show today. And he's about to drop some heat. Eddie, welcome to the show, my brother.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the platform to speak.
100%, man.
Change the world.
Yeah, well, that's, so change the world one loan at a time, right? And I always like to say that. Yeah. So, well, man, I know that, you've done some really, really cool things, with your business, with your career. And what I'd love to do is just kind of get to know you a little bit, let the audience get to know you a little bit. But where are you from originally, man? I know you're in Arizona. Is that where you're from?
No, originally from Mexico. So I was born in a small town in Mexico, and I moved to an even smaller town in North Carolina when I was 9 years old. So it's funny. I learned English with a Southern accent, and thankfully I've dropped it.
I love it, man. I would have loved to have heard the Southern English accent too.
I can make that happen real quick.
Let's go. Y'all. Well, I'm in Texas, so you're going to fit right in down here, right? And I'm from Kansas originally. I moved out here about 20 years ago. So, so from Mexico, moved here when you were 9, learned English in North Carolina. How'd you get over to Arizona, man?
So, my dad works for a military contractor. He's been doing that since he was in Mexico, and when we had an opportunity to get closer to back home, that's when he said, all right, let's move to Arizona. And then I was 14 years old when I moved here. It's an interesting story because it ties into homeownership. They put all their money down, all their life savings into a home in Arizona in 2006. So you can probably imagine what happened with it, right? And it goes into a little bit of the story about why transparency is so crucial for me, because of that story, that they put all their life saving versus really getting a full understanding of all of their options. They might have said, I can pay an extra $300 or $400 or $500 a month and keep $100,000 in my bank account so that my 14-year-old has an opportunity to go to college and do this and do this and do that. And not that I didn't have the opportunity to go to college, it's just I didn't have the opportunity to study what I wanted to study at the time. Yeah. And it's interesting that if I wasn't in the mortgage business today, I wanted to study material science and engineering. So something around the lines of what AI and the chips, manufacturing chips and all of that stuff, I would have been doing that in 2011 or so. So now thankfully I'm doing this, right? But it's just a parallel life that I always wonder, what
does that look? Yeah.
What
does that look like?
What if my parents hadn't put all their money down into a house? They could have afforded the extra monthly payment, and life would have been different. Now I'm grateful to live the life that I live today. But you always wonder, you always think what impact had to happen? Who made the decision to not give them the opportunity to know about different loan programs, et cetera, and all that. So.
Well, I'm glad that you went there, right? So what you're talking about is financial literacy, and somebody who's first year immigrant, right, or comes from that side of the business, and they come over here and they don't know any better, right? So they take all their money, they put it into the home, and as you said, there could have been some different strategy. Would you say, Eddie, that that's a big part of the reason that you got into this industry was to help people, educate people, and provide them with that financial literacy?
No, I wasn't that smart when I got in. I just wanted money. At the beginning, it was all about the money. At the beginning, it was all about I was the first person in State Farm's history to sell more than 100 policies in 1 month in their call center. And I was making half of what my friends at Rocket Mortgage were making, and they weren't even the top loan officers at Rocket Mortgage. And I was like, hell, if I can go and make half of what they're making, I'm going to make more than I'm making now. So that's what got me in, right? Like, I
Yeah.
think that at the beginning, like, it was definitely the money, but over time,
show me the money. Yeah.
The number of people that I could help as a loan officer was limited by the number of hours that I had in a day. And I had a very, very, I think, crucial moment, like around 2019, when we found out that we were gonna have a baby. That we showed up at the doctor's clinic, and the receptionist was like, "All right, fill this paperwork out." And then, then the nurse comes out, and then she yelled my wife's name, and she's like, "Yaneli," and we're like, "All right, like, what are we at, like a taco line or a DMV or?" So we follow her. She starts asking a bunch of scary questions. And then she's like, "All right, sit down here. The doctor is going to be with you in a little bit." The doctor comes in and just vomits a bunch of information in 3 minutes and asks if we have any questions. And we're like, "What the hell? Like, we don't know what questions to ask. Like, we've never had a baby. Like, this is like a completely new experience."
Yeah.
Then we walk out, and the receptionist is like, "All right, like, your next checkup is going to be like on this day, bye." Right. And we're like, "What the hell?" And I realized that how I was helping people prior to 2019 was exactly that way. Fill out your application, quick call, like, move them through the process. And I realized, you know what, like, this is one of the largest milestones in my life. And
it is.
And it's one of the largest milestones in people's lives in buying a house. And I'm guiding them the same exact shitty way that the doctor's guiding me. So let's change that, right? And so I love
that, man.
I created an experience for the consumer, for the home buyer to feel, confident about the process that they were about to undertake.
Right.
The receptionist, when they receive them, set expectations. Like, first welcome them, thank them so much, Devin, for giving us the opportunity to deliver your baby or buy your house here with us, right?
Amen.
The most important thing you need to know about us is that we deliver the tallest, sexiest, smartest babies in all of Arizona or the whole world, right? Like, we only hire doctors from Harvard, and that's our loan officers that are like really badass, and our agents that are really badass and gonna really guide you all the way through.
Amen.
How are you feeling? Let's listen to you, right? Like, let's hear, like, are you excited? Are you nervous? Are you scared? Like, it's normal to have all of those things. Yet our goal is to make sure that we set the proper expectations with you, so that you understand what's going to happen in this process, right? And that my job is to always make sure that you know what's happening now and what's going to happen next. And my job is to give you the information that you need in order to feel confident to take that next step, like, by your side, right? Or with us. And then finally, it's telling the client, like, hey, like, this is more than just about, like, me delivering your baby or me, like, helping you into this home. Because I know that if I treat you like a VIP throughout this whole experience, you're going to have cousins, friends, family members who are also going to have babies, and we want to deliver them, and we want you to introduce us to them. And you're going to do that if I do a great job, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm going to help you, okay? And then people laugh, and it's funny, right? But, like, that's the reality of things. And so I created an experience that I would have liked to have during the largest milestone of my life. But then I realized that the number of people I could help in that way was limited by the number of hours that there was in a day. And so I got to a point where I was doing 200-300 loans a year. And I said, you know what? Okay, like, I've reached the ceiling here.
The max. Yeah, you've maxed out.
And that's when I founded Rate Verifier, to be able to give people that transparency, that control, and that power from the beginning of the process, so that they can feel confident with whatever lender that they chose to work with. And now, instead of helping 200 or 300 families, like, our goal is to help all 4 million people who buy a house in the United States every single year, when I know I can't be the loan officer for 4 million people.
Right.
And so
I'm going to go back and chop that up real quick, man, because you just dumped a lot of great stuff out there. And, what I heard you say is, like the experience that you had in the delivery room, right? You're recognizing at that point in time, I also need to do better with my own clients in providing a experience, right? Because I know a lot of times we talk about, the home being the biggest purchase of somebody's life, and it is, but what you'll always hear me say is it's even more than that, right? This is the place that we're going to spend all of our time. It's where we're going to break bread with families. It's where we're going to have our good times and our bad times. And it's where we're going to see our kids grow up. And don't you want that to start off as a great experience. And so often that's not the case when you start talking about mortgage and purchasing. People have bad experiences, and it's all about the education process and taking the time to sit down and listen. And that's what you said is, I want to tell you, A, what the expectations are, but B, I want to hear what you are really looking for so I can create an experience that's going to be great for you. Because a lot of the times we think that people should be treated the way that we want to be treated, which is true. But it's even more so that people should be treated the way that they want to be treated, right? And when you take the time to sit down and have a true consultation and learn what is important to them, now you can design an experience that's going to be amazing and make that purchase an amazing process, so that when they walk away, they remember buying the home just as fondly as they remember all the memories that they've created inside that home. Right. Yeah. So now you start Rate Verifier because you recognize that you can't serve as many people with that type of experience by yourself. And we've got to create a better process for that. So talk about Rate Verifier. Where does that take us?
So I realized I broke down the loan process into the lowest common denominator and like what everybody needs. Right. And so everybody wants to know, prior to things getting serious, prior to doing an application, even prior to talking to a realtor, and this is what Zillow and like these online companies do so well, is that what they do is they answer the questions that the client has prior to obligating them to anything. Can I find a nice house? Can I find this? Like, is this a price that I'm willing to pay? But what people don't know, what's behind the paywall after they fill out their information, is, do I qualify? How much do I qualify for? And what's my monthly payment? And then once that happens, is we just saw yesterday, right? Like rates dropped. Everybody's talking about like rates dropping and the Fed rates. And yet like interest rates actually went up 0.25% over the last couple of days. And so how do you as a loan officer communicate that, or as a realtor communicate to your client who just got pre-approved last week, that today they qualify for less money than they did last week, even though everybody on the news and everybody on social media is talking about rates dropping? There hadn't been a tool to give the consumer the real information, the true source of information, to give people the confidence to continue on the process, despite what the news is saying, despite what everybody's saying. So the answers that people want is, do I qualify? How much do I qualify for? What's my monthly payment? And they want to trust the process. They want transparency around the process. And that's exactly what Rate Verifier does. So essentially what Rate Verifier does is people answer a few questions, a questionnaire. It gives them the exact interest rates, monthly payment, and buying power based on the area that they're looking to purchase in, that the most reputable lenders are offering nationwide. They download a free report that they can take to any lender that they want to, and only if whatever lender they went to decides like not to match those terms, then they can come back to Eddie Knows Loans, and then we can either give them the loan or refer them to a lender who can do the loan for them.
That's fantastic, man. So you're building a more transparent process, helping people get the information that they actually need so that they can make an informed buying decision.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's pretty killer, man. So, and you did this just to let's recap that. You said 2019, and last time I looked, it's 2025. So you built this out in how long?
2 years. So 2019 through 2023, I was saving money, I was taking advantage of the market the way that it was. In 2023, I left the business because there's two sides to our brain. Like there's two types of people that are inside of all of us. There's a worker, which is the one that can receive 5 phone calls every 10 minutes and answer them and be reacting to like everything that's going on around us. And there's a creator that needs to be 100% focused on the thing that it is that we're doing. And for the magnitude that Rate Verifier has and will have, and the weight of it in the world, I needed to be a creator for a period of time. And I couldn't be a creator at the same time that I was like fielding phone calls and answering questions and alleviating people's concerns and all of those types of things. So from 2023 through basically now, I got licensed again like a month ago. I built Rate Verifier. And it was an experience. I mean, it was an experience that was weird because you had to find a different way to win your day. As a loan officer, I remember how easy it was to win my day. It was like, okay, did I get these many leads? Did I close this many deals this week? Did I do this? Did I do that? When you're building something from 0 to 1, you don't know what you're built. First of all, you have this vision of this thing that you think you're going to build.
Yeah, that's
but
right.
You have no idea if the thing that you're doing that specific day is actually leading to it. And there's so many actions and so many things that you do for many, many days that don't amount to anything. So many things that you end up deleting completely, and you feel, damn, I just spent a month doing that and it didn't work, right? And so there was a lot of those times, but now we're on the other side, right? It's kind of now we're on the other side, and it's so funny because I just had this realization the other day, that birthing a business is like birthing a baby. In your first trimester of being pregnant, you have this idea, right, that you're going to have a baby, but that you don't even know if it's growing, what's going on. There's not you don't really know what's happening. Or if you're doing it right. Then the second trimester, the baby starts kicking, you start seeing a bump, you start getting this idea that, oh shoot, it's actually coming, it's actually happening. Then the third trimester gets really hard because now you're carrying the baby, and it's damn, this is tough, right? And then you deliver, and in Spanish we call it alivio, which is a relief, but it's more like a realization, right? And the realization is that, damn, the work actually begins now. Not that being pregnant obviously isn't work, it definitely is, but you have a realization that, damn, now the work begins into shaping this baby or this business with love to make a positive impact in this world, right? And so just going back to how that changes your perspective is you don't, as a loan officer, is very clear, you know exactly how to win your day. The toughest part about building a business is you don't know if you're winning your day, and you never actually figure out if you win one or not. This is going to transcend my life. It might not be something that in my lifetime, it helps the number of people that are going to ultimately benefit from it.
Amen.
Right? So it's really cool to see or to be a part of creating a new layer that's going to empower and raise people.
Well, I'm going to walk back through that real quick, Eddie, because again, you talk about stuff so passionately and you speak about it so quickly, right? But at the end of the day, if you weren't listening, what Eddie just said was, he did very well in the industry, during, the pandemic times, as a lot of us did, because the interest rates were really aggressive, and Eddie's very, very high frequency, right? He's on his business, he is in it. But then he took the funds that he made from that and said, I can't serve my people well at the level that I'm working or operating if I don't create a solution that's going to provide a better experience for them. And so instead of providing less value to his consumers and the people that lean into him, he took a hiatus and said, now I'm going to take that money that I made and I'm going to invest it not just in myself, but I'm going to invest it in the future borrowers that I'm going to serve and provide a better tool to provide a better experience for those people. And then there's the whole, well, is what I'm going to do going to work? How am I winning this day? And, is this thing going to actually come together to a point where I can actually use it to help people the way that I want to? And all the trials and tribulations that come into that, because we talk about this all the time. Everybody wants to look at somebody and go, oh, they were an overnight success. No, they weren't. There were lots of failures, lots of stumbles and lots of mishaps that got us to the place that we are today. And so now, after this 2-year hiatus, taking off and building the software, we've got stuff that we say, hey, look, this is good. This is good. I feel good about it. And now it's time to get out there and let's test it again, right? Let's test it live with real people and serve the communities, right? So let's go from there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's pretty much it. Now it's about making an impact and getting it to as many people as possible.
Yeah.
And so that's the next challenge. And the thing is that it goes against conventional ways of doing business, right? I think that being transparent is going to gain the trust of people to refer us more clients, and that's what the consumer is looking for today, right? The consumer of today and tomorrow is not the consumer of yesterday.
They're not.
The consumer of today and tomorrow want information before anything gets serious, right?
Yeah.
Like they don't want to meet, they don't want to do an application, they don't want their credit pulled, like they don't want any of those things until they feel confident to take that step. And what requires that step is transparency, enough information to give them clarity around what's next for them.
I love it, man. Well, I love that you talk about transparency, but there's something else that we haven't covered. And by the way, guys, you know, I'm running Eddie's info across the bottom of the screen. So if you're watching this and you want to know more about his process, and rateverifier.com, by the way, rateverifier.com is going to get you to the Rate Verifier so you can start really following that experience. But if you want to talk to Eddie directly, you know, go over to his website and check him out, or pop onto Instagram and find him at Eddie Knows Loans. Again, that's Eddie Knows Loans. He's all over, by the way. So like if you go there, you're going to see a lot of activity. He's on there talking every single day about the things that he's offering and what he's providing. But one of the things that I know that you've done outside of just the Rate Verifier product, right? But in addition to that, you've published a book. And I think this one's I think it's really interesting. So talk a little bit about the book that you've published and what that's all about.
Yeah. So, I mean, on the surface, I was a loan officer that helped a lot of families, and the realtors and the loan officers too, like always gave the adults like a bottle of wine to cope with the move because it was stressful, right? Or a washer and dryer or a TV or whatever. And the kids like never got anything. And I was a kid that moved. Right. And I remember when I was 9 years old and I didn't get anything from the realtor. And then it was like, hey, you know what? Like one day, like I want to do something for these kids, because when a kid moves across town or across the country or across a border to a different country, like you genuinely like feel all alone. Like, and not only do you feel all alone, like you have to start all over again, create a whole new identity, and you don't feel represented, or you don't see yourself represented really anywhere, right? And so I wanted to create a book where kids found themselves represented as they're going through this huge transition in their lives. And the book's about my story, but the book's essentially a kid who finds a little girl at school who's crying, and then the little boy asks the girl, like, hey, like what's wrong, like why are you sad? And she says, oh, today's my last day at school and I'm sad because I'm moving to Arizona. And he tells her, hey, I moved here last year, and at first it was really hard, but then I realized that it was the best thing that ever happened to me. And then that little girl will pay it forward someday to some other little kid in her story in the book. And so it'll be a continuation. So I invite everybody, if you're a loan officer, if you're a realtor, it's a beautiful story that you can share with your families that have kids. And really, really goes a long way for the kids to know that they're not by themselves in this.
Well, and I think, again, to let the cat out of the bag, right? The name of the book is The Adventures of Eddie, right? Mm-hmm. And you may be looking at us and going, well, we want to learn the story of Eddie. And I think you should. But more importantly, what is Eddie in the book? How is Eddie represented?
So Eddie's the moving monkey. So Eddie the moving monkey so the little boy essentially tells the girl, hey, this may be the best thing. Like this was the best thing that ever happened to me, or that ever happened to me. It's probably going to be the best thing that ever happens to you. Right. Mm-hmm. And so later on in the story, the little boy goes home. He writes his own story in a book that Eddie the moving monkey came with when he received them, and puts the moving monkey Eddie in a box, and then puts the book with his story now in the box, takes it to a little girl's house, rings on her doorbell, runs back to his mom's car, and then the story ends where it begins, which is the little girl receiving a book with a stuffed monkey in it, and the story about how that monkey got there. So Eddie the moving monkey is a really cool analogy to, like, the little boy goes to the monkey and says, hey, Eddie, thank you so much for being my friend this year, but I'm okay now. I think it's time for Eddie the moving monkey to go on to his next moving adventure. What do you think? And so that's where it really like kind of takes off. Like that's the climax of the story, and then it moves on to the little girl. So.
Well, and what's great about this is, number one, that it's going to help children cope with that hard thing, right? Because we're talking about, adults getting stressed and frustrated with a move, right? But, we have to realize the type of stress and frustration that puts on a child, especially if they're not moving inside of the same neighborhood, which happens so often, right? And Eddie, you do know this. You know this story because it's happened to you more than one time. You moved from another country to the United States and didn't speak the language, had to learn the language here. But then again, you were uprooted a second time and moved to Arizona and had to do it all over again. So this is a tale that you know so well. But what I love about this is that not only does the book exist and it's there to help people, but you also give this book to families when they're doing transactions with your company. Is that correct?
Yeah. The moment I speak to somebody that I know has a kid and they're thinking about the moving process, like whether they transact with me or not, like it's a gift that I provide to them. And it's a gift that everybody should get, right? Like if a kid is or if a family with kids is thinking about moving, like, hey, like, let's make sure that the kid knows that they're going to be okay, right? Because what happens when kids aren't okay, when kids don't feel represented, like they find groups of people that might not be the best groups of people in the new town or new place where they go to. Then they end up in gangs or drugs or around the wrong group of, like, the wrong crowd that accepts everybody, right? And so it's it's really good to make sure that the kids feel confident that, one, they're not alone, that it's the best thing that ever happens to them, and that continue to surround themselves around the energy that, hey, this is the best thing that ever happened to me in moving, just the same way that it was the best thing for this kid in this book that I feel represented by.
I love it, man. I absolutely love it. And what's really strange for me too is, when we jumped on and we talked about this a few weeks ago, I had a very similar vision, but it never put it to light. And, you actually went out there and you authored this thing, you published this thing. And guys, if you're tuning in now, you can grab a copy of this on, Amazon, The Adventures of Eddie on Amazon. And it's something you can provide to your kids. If you're going through a move and your loan officer isn't Eddie or somebody on his team, and you want to have something that can help your child cope with that transition, it exists, and it exists because you took the time to write it out, have it published. And I know that there's a part 2 to that story, which is down the road. We might actually have Eddie the monkey. Is that right?
Oh, Eddie the monkey. Yeah. We're
bringing him to life.
Bringing the monkey to life. I have a grand total of 1 monkey that exists, and it's my daughter's Eddie's monkey. But yes, we want to give that, create a little plush toy that everybody can have.
Well, and again, if you're tuning in, somebody that creates great quality plushies, reach out, right? Comment, DM, go over to Eddie's channel. You can find him on Instagram at Eddie Knows Loans, and, let him know, because, Eddie's demand for excellence is there. You already know, if you've been listening in, the process that he's created with Rate Verifier.com and why. Now imagine the same person who says, hey, the children need an experience too, but then he wants to put together a stuffed animal that we can provide along with the book. What level of quality is that, right? Like, we're talking about, we want a really high quality product. So if you know somebody, if you know distributor, manufacturer, right, somebody that can actually help link that together, man, we'd love to hear from you as well. But if you are looking for information on RateVerifier.com, go check out Eddie. Again, at Eddie Knows Loans. Make sure you subscribe to his channel, drop him a comment or DM him, or run over to his website, right? EddieKnowsLoans.com. Again, that's EddieKnowsLoans.com, and check him out over there. But guys, we're here at wrap up time. Eddie, what's last words, man? Anything that we want to put out there before we wrap up today?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things, and I actually always end with this when I have the opportunity to speak, and thank you for the platform, is that my mission in life is to never win at the cost of somebody else. It's always in creating additional value and earning a small piece out of that additional value that we create. The pie is not just this. Like, if we add ingredients to the pie can get bigger. Right. And so I add ingredients to the pie and I earn a piece of that additional pie that was created. So Rate Verifier is not here to take away your business. Like, Rate Verifier is not here, or Eddie Knows Loans and Rate Verifier are not here to take away your commission. Like, we're here to provide the consumer an elevated experience. And the reality is that today, the number of people in the business that are doing less than X number of transactions, like, just frankly don't have the professionalism or the at-bats to really be able to guide somebody in the best way possible. And so if you're a true professional that actually gives a shit about the client, right? And that follows through on the promises that you make, reach out to Rate Verifier, or reach out to me, so that we can give you access to Rate Verifier and you can utilize the tool so that you can help your people in your markets. And that's the idea.
Well, I've heard of the gift that keeps on giving. You're the guy that keeps on giving. You're out there helping with, consumer clarity and transparency and guiding people through a process that can be difficult. And now also building a back-end experience for the children, which I think a lot of the times, unfortunately, are an afterthought. And you've put them as the forefront, right? And, giving them that comfort level and that confidence that not only are you going to help guide, the family through, but we're going to help the whole family guide through to closing with confidence. So, Eddie, you're an amazing person, and that's why I had to get you over here and put you on the platform. And I truly appreciate you, so much for showing up and doing the things that you're doing and taking the time to build a tool that helps others shamelessly, right? Like you did that because you knew that there needed to be a better way. So, guys, go check out rateverifier.com. Find Eddie at Eddie Knows Loans on Instagram and go to his website, right? EddieKnowsLoans.com. Again, make sure that you like and subscribe to his page. That's really important. It helps him find more people that he can actually help by providing the services that he provides. So, Eddie, my brother, thank you so much. Hey, if your guys are out there listening, we appreciate you as always. Keep coming back for great guests like Eddie. And if you'd like to see him back on again, just DM me, and I might be able to twist arm, get it back over here. So
I'm going to charge you next time. I'm just
I love it, man. I love it. Well, hey, thanks again, guys, for tuning in. Until the next time, we'll see you then.
Thank you.
You've been watching Loan Officer Success Live, where real strategies meet real success. Don't forget to subscribe now and share it with your teammates and keep leveling up, because your next breakthrough starts here. If this fired you up, don't just watch success, go out there and build it.